Well, I watched another Constantine animated movie that came out years ago. And it was pieced together from a mini-series of sorts that was on CW Seed, which this will be the one that I've seen first. I know there was a Vixen series, and I think there was or maybe Green Arrow and the Flash guest starred on her show or something like that. I'll have to look into that at some point too. But this was cobbled together to make one film, City of Demons. Oh, I've heard of City of Angels. Yes, that's where it takes place. It's in Los Angeles, but there's a lot of demons running around, which is pretty standard for the world of Constantine. So we get a look at his past and how he was a guy just sort of toying with the occult while he was getting his punk band together and performing and all that. And this rival group was led by a guy who was also into black magic and whatnot and was conjuring up a demon. And so Constantine conjured up a bigger one to take on that. And then, of course, the demon wanted to be fed. And took a young girl with him, and Constantine failed to save her, and off she went into the depths of the Netherverse, you know. And so that's why he becomes an alcoholic and a chain-smoking guy and a bit of an a-hole for the rest of his life. But years later, his friend, band member, the one who survived, the other band members, they didn't make it. He's moved on, gotten married, and had a daughter. Well, guess what? Yes, his daughter is now a pawn for a demon. And so he contacts Constantine and says, "You're the only one I know who can help me," and all this sort of thing. And so he does. And it's a movie-long ordeal of trying to figure out, well, how do we, save this girl and all that. And comes across the demon that's all of this, and you get a little magical mystery tour of the nastiness of the demonic world. Not safe for work scenes and stuff like that. But to make a long story short, the demon is actually the original demon that John Constantine lost to previously, and he's just in disguise as this other one as they continue to vie for power amongst themselves and all that sort of thing. And he's just mockingly forcing Constantine to do his bidding and all that. But ultimately, Constantine does win, but there is a price to pay, and basically it's his friend has to lose his memory and not remember anything about Constantine and all that. But worse than that, his wife and daughter don't remember him. But, there's a price to pay for saving his daughter, and that's how it happened. But the interesting parts of it is, again, it's a little tour of a dark supernatural world of DC, and even to the point of old gods that Constantine even bamboozles. One of them is one of the Aztec death god who's still around. As the religions around them fade, they kind of fade, but this one was still hanging on. And, Constantine made use of him to get rid of these other demons that were a problem, and that kind of thing. And this is the kind of fast and loose, backstabbing stuff that Constantine does, because he is very much in the mold of the a-hole hero. The a-hole with a heart of gold. Yeah. I mean, in the superheroes, Guy Gardner is a good example of that. Booster Gold, kind of, but Booster Gold is more of, kind of the lovable idiot who, the lovable idiot who could type thing. And that kind of thing. But when it comes to just a nasty person, that for the most people wouldn't want to associate with. That's John Constantine. But he carries this terrible burden. And those are the aspects of his character. And in a lot of ways, it's this rather simple film of this mission that he's on, and out of loyalty to his old friend, even though, yeah, his friend saves his daughter, but now he'll never know her and all this stuff. It's all very sad, but it was, look, it was this poor girl trapped in hell, basically. So what was he supposed to do? And this was the only way out, and so he did it. And honestly, if what his friend had gone against it or wanted another way and ruined the plan, maybe, had he told him this, but it's like, it's the only way to save your daughter. Yeah. But I like this one better than the recent one I saw, which was part of the DC Showcase House of Mystery, which wasn't really much of a story at all. This one was. And a lot about these supernatural stories for DC, like Justice League Dark, are heavily dependent on mood and atmospherics, which they provide most times very well. There's all kind of cool things. The House of Mystery itself is very, very cool. But what's the story? Does it really go anywhere or do anything? And magic is always, and some writers are good at this and remembering they've got to be some amount of consistency here. And in this case, yes, there was this terrible price to pay. You can't just have godlike power 1 minute and the next minute, oh, someone knocks you over the head and ties you up or something. There's got to be this reasons why you can't just solve this problem with a snap of your fingers when you're so magical in other moments. And so it's better when that's orchestrated as explanations and credibility to your plot. Otherwise, there was no point in even starting the story, because you were never going to lose. So obviously John Constantine cannot be God in this. He just knows some tricks of the trade and has to outsmart the other demons who are, and for them to be intimidating and formidable, position them as more powerful. But in this instance, the demon needed Constantine to perform this for him, and he set it up like that, and then he figures out a way to outfox him and all this stuff. And once again, the power of love, that's always but there's something to be said for the emotional spectrum playing a role and influence on the supernatural abilities, and that seems to be pretty standard in these. But gotta say, this one did have a point A, point B, point C, point D type thing, rather than just say, look at all this stuff and there you go, the end. So it wasn't that. So it was all right. I liked it okay. And not one of their best, but still not bad. So anyway, there you go. Constantine, City of Demons.